Hi, welcome to Still Playing with Toys. Upon further review of the episode that you're about to see, we realized that it's a little bit on the serious side. So we wanted to spend this time to talk to you about something that is very important to us and equally serious. Diabetes.
You check your fucking blood sugar, and you check it often.
There's no reason not to.
And Troy.
Hi everybody, welcome to Still Playing with Toys.
Hi.
I'm Troy.
I'm Jason.
And we're here to talk to you today about e-comics.
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 The electronic version.
The electronic comic book.
The electronic comic books.
Like
That's what we're going to talk to you about.
In the, when I was a kid,
Yeah.
if you had the idea that you would have this device in your hand that could hold like a plethora or an infinite amount of comic books, that would have been like
That would have been
the
amazing.
shit.
That would have been Star Trek. That's the future.
Just having like an iPad in my hand would have been Star Trek, but to know that that had comic books in it, that's what
Amazing.
It was like sci-fi.
That was
right?
like sci-fi, yeah.
Some people not a big fan.
Not a big fan. I happen to be one of those
You are
people.
one of those people.
I'm slowly converting, but I'm a little old school when it comes to my comics, you know? I gotta say. I mean, definitely when it comes to electronic comics, you know, the convenience factor is huge.
True.
You know, especially.
Well, we live in LA,
You know,
so
you're moving every month.
You're moving every month.
You get evicted, you gotta run, you gotta.
Hey, rent is going up again.
So you gotta take your comics with you. But you know,
it's convenience, yeah, and it's much easier because especially so you live in LA, it's a lot more difficult to get to the local comic book shop. As much as you want to support a local comic book shop, you can't get there as easily as if it was right down the street. So. So on every Wednesday, I can just like, I got everything I want done.
Yeah,
I make those noises when I do it too.
It's really, really weird. No, I mean, I completely see that argument, and that's why I've slowly started to buy certain titles.
True.
But you know, I'm excuse me. For me, it's like one of the main factors is the collecting of it, and I feel like when you buy on Comixology or any of those other apps that are currently slinging comic books electronically, I don't feel like I own that book. You know, especially with Comixology, I don't even have a PDF that I can save to my computer.
Yeah,
I can only access it through the app.
What happens if Comixology goes out of business? Like that's my biggest fear is if I don't have like a PDF for a comic book, whatever it is, a CBZ, you know.
Yeah.
If I don't have that and Comixology says, well, see you later, we're out.
Bye, peace.
Or if, 20 years down the line, okay, I never would have thought I had an iPad 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What's 20 years from now? And I want to go back and I want to reread the new 52.
And will it be compatible?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, Comixology is not permanent.
No.
It's almost so with iTunes, you download a song. That song exists on your computer,
which is great. It's a great format, and that's why who buys music anymore?
Yeah,
well, I do. I buy vinyl, but still, I mean, it's convenient, and there's like foolproof. You own what you're paying for. If Comixology gave you a PDF or a CBZ or CBR, I would be way more apt to being like, yes, I'm fully committing, except for like the 2 or 3 titles that I just want to own. But I don't feel like you own them, and it's not the same as collecting. You know, it's like I want to have a full run of Y the Last Man, or I'm a huge Green Lantern fan, and I've had it since like back in the '90s. I've been collecting it since then. So it's like I want to own all of those, so I can be like, yeah, those are mine, and yeah, sure, they're not worth anything. I mean, maybe certain issues. Maybe certain issues are worth a little bit, but the bulk of them are.
And that's, I mean, you say collecting. You're using collecting in the sense that you love something so much that you want to own it.
Yes.
All. It's not that you're collecting it because you're going to sell it as a collection.
It's not a
like,
monetary gain.
Here's my Topps baseball cards that I'm going to sell later.
For me, it's that urge that when I was a kid, I wanted to own all the action figures. I wanted to own all the comic books, and it's something that I grew up with. I want to own those things. Maybe I mean, someday when I have a child. Hopefully not too soon. But it's like I would love to pass that on to them and be like, hey, here's Dad's comic book
Here's all the
collection.
comic books, which you can't necessarily do with those digital files. You can't just be like, here, son, here's your dad's comic book collection.
Here's my iPad.
It's on an SD card.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, when floating holograms are in front of your face, I'm going to hand him an iPad too and be like, hey, push the Comixology app. I mean, you know, there's something,
yeah.
there's a disconnect there as far as what I'm paying for and what I'm getting.
The thing that interests me the most is you say that it's like you want to collect it because you love like Y the Last Man. You want to own all of Y the Last Man.
Physical interaction with the physical media. That's what it's all about. You know, I'm old school, I guess. I am an old man. I'm 30 years old.
But you still, I mean, you still have a physical, like you still have an iPad in your hands. It's still something physical.
You don't smell the paper. And I know it probably seems really weird,
That's
but like
creepy.
The paper quality, you know,
just gonna move my
smell,
chair over.
Don't do that. Stick with me, pal.
All right,
We'll make it through this.
I'm gonna put
There's just something about owning, like I am a huge vinyl collector, and not as big as another friend of mine, Nathan Lipto, filmtheblankshow.com. But I mean, he's a huge vinyl collector. Yeah, he does. But you know, so there's something to that. It's like it's a built-in mentality. The people that still collect vinyl, that still collect physical media, you know, there's something to be said for it.
I know you're not a fan of it because you don't have that long box that you can pull out and shuffle through, but to me it's making things more accessible. I'm reading Batgirl, which I would have never read before.
Yeah.
Because they give me the first issue.
Yeah.
It's free. It's there to read.
The incentives are nice. You know, they do give you free issues, and you know, maybe you wet your whistle and it gets you interested, and you want to buy more. You know, that's definitely an awesome aspect of it. I love that. But
bottom line is you would miss paper comics.
I would miss paper comics. And, and the other thing is, I think, you know, since, you know, I'm not actually getting physical media, $1.99 for some comics. And in certain apps, we won't name names of publishers, but Marvel might be one of them.
Yep.
They're a little too, what are they, $2.99?
They're $2.99. In
I don't
want
to pay $2.99 for something I don't own. Like, as far as physical, you know, it's like...
That's part of the, like, you know, you buy a song for 99 cents on iTunes because you don't want the whole album.
You want the whole album.
Great.
Yeah.
But if I'm buying a comic, there's a little bit of a disconnect. And I understand they still have to pay the artists and pay the production fees and everything. But it's a little steep when you don't have that physical tangible.
It's a little steep,
what's the word?
Tangibility.
Pharanges.
No, anyway. I mean, you bring up a good point. People have to get paid, you know, and being that we work in the film and television industry, it's like, of course, you know, the stuff we make, we want to be paid for it, you know, and if people aren't buying it, then we're not getting paid. You know, so I definitely get that, and I think comic book artists and writers, I mean, they need to get paid for their work, you know, so, you know, I'm not saying you should go out and illegally download things.
And that's where the illegal downloads come into play, though. It's like those people are not getting paid for it. Although I've heard the argument with piracy that like you still get the advertisements when you download the stuff. So
you do
theoretically, if the advertisers are paying for whatever those ads are that are in the BitTorrent that you download, they're still technically getting paid for it, I guess.
I guess kind of.
I don't know, but
I don't want to
it's people justifying something that's wrong.
It's true. But then again, you know, I'm also not going to, you know, sit on my little soapbox and act like I'm not guilty of doing stuff like that as well, because I do actually own some comics that were illegally obtained. But here's the kicker. I own all of them in either hardback or floppies.
The same way that you have like a ROM of a Nintendo game that you already own. You already own. It's something. It's like having a backup of it. Yeah.
It's like Y the Last Man. Love the comic. I own the floppies. I own the hardcovers. So when I downloaded those illegally because I also wanted to take them with me if I was traveling, I didn't feel bad at all, and I think that's okay.
Well, or in these like back issues. That's I love downloading. Like I have a bunch of Now Comics' back issues because Now Comics doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And those comics that I had when I was a kid, I can get them sometimes. But if I go online, somebody has that download, and that's what I have. Is a lot of back issues that
are just it's nice to have.
It's nice to have,
you know. And the other thing is sometimes, you know, I have downloaded things before that, you know, are like kind of independent comics, and you know, and if I dig it, I go out and I buy it right away. You know, I mean, I think it's kind of, and I know a lot of independent comic artists and writers, they will put their stuff for free, which I think is great
because they want you to read it.
Get the word out.
You know what else is free? Still Playing with Toys Live, where you're watching right now. Thank you.
But I mean, you know, all in all, to summarize, e-comics are great. I personally don't prefer them, but they definitely have their place. But guided view is something that I personally despise and just feel like it destroys the medium and changes the way that you, the reader, enjoys a comic book. Which, you know, if you like, more power to you. That's awesome. keep buying them.
Just
That's
not
great.
for us. Yeah,
But it's just not for us. Yeah.
This is just our opinion.
And it may be a generational thing. We are two old,
true.
grumpy men.
We are old.
See how I didn't say grumpy old men because that would be a copyright infringement. We didn't have to pay.
But you just said it.
Cut.
All right,
Cut.
we should just end this one before we
That's
have to
great.
pay for anything more. But so bottom line, e-comics good, guided view bad.
But let us know what you think. You know,
But
send us
emails.
emails.
Send us comments. Come to our website. We have a message board.
We have a website?
We have a website.
We have a website now.
Stillplayingwithtoys.com. Come to the website. Post on the message board. Check it out. And yeah,
That's great.
I think we're done for today. But we'll
Jason?
see you all next time. I'm Troy.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Bye.
Oh, God.